meetings that we are going to be having. We are going to allow the residents to be engaged and get the questions answered that they need to move forward. This morning, we heard from our Insurance Commissioner, Ricardo Lara, regarding what the Department of Insurance is doing to help people as they navigate the insurance coverage that they may or may not have. This is an important thing to note. Ricardo Lara has set up an 800 number, which I'm going to put up on our website. But I want you all to know that we are going to be working diligently with the state to make sure that those that are insured get the financial help they need. I'm also hearing that people, I know yesterday we announced that FEMA has set up a website, and I'm seeing that people are filling out the form and being denied. I'm following up on that to find out what is going on, because it is completely mind-boggling to me that people who have lost everything are filling out a form as told and then are getting an immediate denial. So if you have done that, please, I'm going to try to get an answer within 24 hours to find out what's going on so that you all get the answers you deserve. If you have any questions and that you want answered during the meeting tonight, you can drop the questions in a chat during the live stream or submit them ahead of time via email to 2025.eaton@firenet.gov. Again, 2025.eaton, E-A-T-O-N, at firenet.gov. We've also extended the opportunity to utility companies to participate and answer your questions. I know that's another question we're getting is, when is my power going to come on? When is my gas going to come on? These are questions that we're going to be addressing tonight, so I would encourage you all to participate. And last but not least, and I've said it, and we've got elected town council up in the Altadena area, and I know of at least 4 have lost their homes. These are elected officials that are representing the community, and I want you all to know that they are with us. They'll be there on the virtual call tonight and are very, very, very much a part of the community, and I just want to acknowledge them because it's important for us to recognize that behind every single thing you're seeing on the TV, there are people's lives who have been impacted, and it is not lost on me. So with that, I'm going to introduce now Los Angeles County Fire Department Fire Chief Anthony Maroney to give you an update on the Eaton fire.
So good afternoon. Thank you, Supervisor Barger. The Eaton fire is estimated to be 13,956 acres with 3% containment. We have over 7,000 structures damaged or destroyed and 1,527 firefighting personnel on scene. Yesterday afternoon, the Eaton fire made a run towards historic Mount Wilson. The Mount Wilson Observatory and the telescope are undamaged thanks to the efforts of our firefighters and observatory staff. No buildings or infrastructure have been damaged or destroyed at Mount Wilson. We are appreciative to our many mutual aid and out-of-state fire partners for providing assistance to Los Angeles County in our time of greatest need. The current red flag event that we are under right now will expire at 6 p.m. this evening. However, we do anticipate another red flag event beginning on Monday, and I can assure everybody that LA County will be prepared. Before I close, I would like to thank Board Chair and 5th District Supervisor Catherine Barger for her unwavering support and leadership. I would also like to acknowledge the tireless efforts of all first responders who have put themselves in harm's way to protect residents and property. And to our residents impacted by this devastating fire siege, please rest assured that we will not stop until the fires are fully contained, and we will continue to be here for you as we plan for the repopulation, recovery, and rebuilding that will be occurring. Thank you. I would now like to introduce Assistant Sheriff Myron Johnson of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
Well, good afternoon. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department has deployed over 500 sheriff's personnel and still have actively deployed additional personnel to the fires. And that's in addition to our normal patrol staffing functions. Deputies have actively patrolled the evacuated areas and increased their presence in those areas for looting, deterrence, as well as burglary suppression efforts. Overall, the evacuations for the Palisades, Eaton, Hearst, Kenneth, and Lydia fires, evacuation orders approximately 100,053 residents are under evacuation orders, and approximately 57,830 structures remain at risk. Evacuation warnings, approximately 166,800 residents are under evacuation warnings, and approximately 50,837 structures remain at risk. As you heard our sheriff speak about yesterday and this morning, we have a curfew enacted in the affected areas. It's been established in the Palisades and the Eaton fire areas, and it's a mandatory evacuation zones, that will be in effect from 6 p.m. this afternoon until 6 a.m. tomorrow until further notice. This curfew will be strictly enforced and is being taken to enhance public safety, protect property, and prevent looting in areas where residents have been evacuated. We ask that all individuals comply with the curfew and stay clear of the impacted areas unless you're an authorized personnel member, such as a fire representative or an emergency first responder. Anyone found in violation of the curfew will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor under LA County Code Section 2.68.320. And conviction of that section results in a fine up to $1,000 and jail time. We understand this is an extremely stressful and challenging moment for our residents in this community, but we appreciate the public's cooperation, and we will work together during this crisis. We also have additional assets from the National Guard that are assisting in law enforcement efforts during this catastrophe. We requested the National Guard's assistance yesterday. Several National Guard members arrived last night and were deployed in the Eaton fire area and are assisting with road closures and critical infrastructure protection efforts. As additional National Guard personnel arrive, the Sheriff's Department will strategically coordinate their deployment to both the areas in collaboration with LAPD, Pasadena Police Department, Santa Monica Police Department, Azusa Police Department, and Arcadia Police Department. There continues to be criminal activity in the Eaton area, and we continue to make additional arrests since yesterday, but these numbers are still fluctuating, and we're gathering the information. In total, we have made about 18 arrests between Eaton and the Palisades fire, 15 in Eaton, and then 3 in Palisades. Charges include possession of narcotics, possession of burglary tools, burglary, identity theft, looting. One suspect was on active parole and was also charged with possession of a concealed firearm. Unfortunately, we have confirmed 8 deaths in our jurisdiction, 6 in the Eaton fire area and 2 in the Palisades County area. Our Homicide Bureau is working closely with the LA County Coroner's Office to respond to any deaths that have been reported. Our detectives have started to process certain investigations related to the fire, but they have to wait for access due to the dangerous conditions that still exist, such as downed power lines, leaking gas, and spot fires that are occurring. And just as Chief Maroney indicated, I'd like to acknowledge the hardworking men and women out there on the front line, making sure this community is safe. And this department is dedicated to apply every resource we have to be with you until we can get a handle on this tragic event. And now with that, I'd like to introduce Operations Section Chief Don Fergulia.
Can I take liberty? I just, when I was done, I turned around and my colleague, Supervisor Janice Hahn, is here and would like to say a few words, but I want to publicly thank you, Supervisor Hahn, because I know that you've been working as Metro Chair to help navigate the transportation system as it relates to the impact of these fires. So with that, Supervisor Hahn.
Thank you, Supervisor Barger. I'm here to support you in any way. These fires have not touched the 4th Supervisorial District per se. I'm here supporting you, and thank you for your tremendous leadership on this. I've been touring your communities here in Altadena, and I am, like everyone else, devastated by what I'm seeing. Thanks again to the men and women in the Sheriff's Department, the Fire Department, CAL FIRE, all the fire departments that are here. And I specifically wanted to come see some of the stations that were from the 4th District. So some of my men and women from the 4th District are here. I talked to Norwalk, Paramount, I think Commerce is here. So I just wanted to tell them thank you for coming, and just make sure everybody realizes these firefighters are not going home, right? They are here round the clock. Appreciate everybody who's feeding them, who's making sure that they have an opportunity to sleep and take naps. Thank you for that. They have been amazing. But as Supervisor Barger said, as the chair of Metro, I've been on the phone with the CEO of Metro, Stephanie Wiggins, to get regular updates about our system. Big news is we will continue the free fares. All
right, so you are getting an update there from officials on the Eaton fire mostly. They're out there in Pasadena. We did get a few updates on the Palisades fire as well. They're specifically on that Eaton fire burning in the Altadena area. They're saying it's at 13,000, some 956 acres, so looking at almost 14,000 acres there. They say more than 7,000 structures have been damaged or destroyed. The highlight there, the good note, was they said as that fire made a run toward historic Mount Wilson and the observatory there and some critical communications towers, that was all spared, that firefighters saved it. And they noted the red flag warning expires tonight, but another one sets up again Monday. And at this point, they're very concerned because there is, more than 50,000 structures that are still at risk at this point. She also mentioned what is happening for people that have insurance and how they're trying to navigate this if they lost their homes, which we know so many people had. Again, 7,000 structures damaged or destroyed alone on that Eaton fire. I want to bring in California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara, who can join us for more information on this. Ricardo, thank you so much for being here with us. Passing along to you, we just heard from the LA County Supervisor. She talked about you. She just said that you are doing what you can to help those who are insured navigate this really extensive and challenging process. As we know, though, insurance is a big issue out here in California. So first, let's start with those who are insured. How do they go about doing this, knowing that what we're seeing here, this could potentially be one of the costliest fires in history?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And you're absolutely right. As you're seeing these devastating images, I want to make sure that people know that the priority right now is to focus on your family and your health. And the last thing you should be worrying about right now is the insurance. But here's what we've done so far. Last night, I'd issued a bulletin to protect homeowners affected by the Palisades and the Eaton fires from non-renewals and cancellations by insurance companies. So for 1 year, under a moratorium law that I wrote when I was in the Senate, this covers you even if your home wasn't destroyed or damaged in the wildfire. You can visit us at insurance.ca.gov to look up your zip code, or you can call us. Call us at the department so that we can help let you know if you're covered within the zip codes. Unfortunately, these fires are still raging, and so we're constantly amending the moratorium. People can call us at 1-800-927-4357, and we're going to be having some insurance, homeowners insurance workshops. And this is a great opportunity for homeowners, bring their documents, meet with our insurance experts one-on-one, and then we will connect you that same day with your insurance company so that we can hopefully get you a check in hand, or at least get you a timeline of when you can get your claims paid. It's important that they use that same number to make an appointment so we can tell you what kind of documents you need. Again, this is very individualized, and so it's important for you to call us ahead at 1-800-927-4357. Fortunately, at the department, we've become experts now throughout the state in addressing these horrific wildfires.
And so, look, we know it's going to be a long road to rebuild, right? And insurance checks and money can't come soon enough for people, especially. We also just heard LA County Supervisor say that people are applying for FEMA assistance and getting immediately denied. So what are you telling people who, if they have a question about their insurance policy, but also the larger issue here of those people that are navigating the insurance policies out here that, almost seemingly disappear from some homeowners year after year?
You're absolutely right. And insurance on just a normal day is complicated and confusing to navigate. Now you can imagine under the duress and the trauma of people that had just suffered and are suffering these devastating fires. And this is why we're telling folks, do not sign any document under duress. Take your time before you make those financial decisions of you and your family. You are maybe entitled to additional living expenses. So it's important for people to keep receipts of their hotels, food, any rental equipment, rental cars, so that can also be used during the claims process. Again, I just urge people to call us, and unfortunately, as you all have been reporting, this is a time for fraud. We see a lot of, and like what we've seen in other states, these out-of-state adjusters come in, start making false promises, or forcing consumers to say, we'll give you 70% of your claims payout if you sign with us now, when you're entitled to 100% of those claims. And so we don't want people making any rash decisions. This is why it's important for them to call us so that we can assess you, talk to you about what your rights are as a consumer. We speak multiple languages, and we have people 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. ready to assist you Monday through Friday.
Ricardo, thank you so much. We certainly don't want people taken advantage of in their time of need. Thank you for being here with us today. I also quickly want to go to ABC's Alex Stone, who's in Altadena for us for a quick check-in. So look, Alex, we just got a bit of an update out there on that Eaton fire. And I think one thing that stood out to me, Alex, is the concern, right, that these red flag warnings expire tonight. They come back again pretty quickly, and we still have thousands and thousands of structures at risk right now.
Yeah, there are a lot of structures that are at risk, Hannah, but really the number that stands out today is a number that we now know that at least 7,000 buildings have been destroyed in this fire, making it the second most destructive wildfire in California history and the most destructive wildfire here on the Eaton fire now in Los Angeles County history. And I mean, you just look and it is like this from block to block, one after another, everything in these homes, they're gone. It's only chimneys remaining. Cars are melted in the streets. There are Christmas decorations that are melted down the street. There's a blow-up Santa Claus. You can see his belt and his belt buckle, and that's about it. There's natural gas spewing from a lot of these homes right now. So still, there is so much work left to do. But today, the winds have died down considerably. The red flag fire warnings expire later on tonight. They're trying to take advantage of that right now. A lot of helicopter activity above us as they are dropping water. Not a lot of smoke and flame activity that we're seeing today. Canada, they're trying to take advantage of it.
They certainly are. While they have this time before those red flag warnings come back. Alex Stone, our thanks to you out there in Altadena. Again, here, as Alex mentioned, as we start to learn more about these numbers, right, we're learning about the acreage and the number of damaged or destroyed homes. As he mentioned, out there at the Eaton fire, they think that number is about 7,000. We have a high number of damaged or destroyed homes in the 5,000 range in the Palisades fire alone. So we're creeping up here on tragically historic numbers, and they just keep growing. Look, we have a lot more stories that we're following for you here on ABC News Live. Of course, that includes President-elect Trump's sentencing for his criminal conviction in the New York hush money trial. Also, the U.S. Supreme Court hears arguments on whether the popular social media app TikTok will be banned in the United States. We have those stories and more for you straight ahead on ABC News Live.
Milo's Rewards is here. Join for free today to unlock member perks from the palm of your hand. With every purchase, all members earn points towards Milo's money. Get free gifts to bring home, member deals to get more projects done, and free standard shipping. Start earning for free with Milo's Rewards today.
We ready? I need to get me a new phone. You need to trade in that old busted up phone. You can get you a brand new iPhone 16 Pro from T-Mobile. It's on them. At T-Mobile, it's better over here. Families save 20% every month. What a deal.
To all you new and existing customers, trade in your busted old phone, and T-Mobile will give you a brand new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. Plus, families can switch and save 20% versus the other big guys' best plans plus streaming.
T-Mobile is one of none. Go get that.
What he said.
I love winter forecasting. It's the reason I went into meteorology. As far as winter weather goes, I think the biggest thing for Chicagoans is commuting.
The thing that is consistently dangerous for us are winter storms. They can shut the city down at a moment's notice.
One of these days, we're getting another big blizzard, and we will be there ready to cover that when it's happening.
Keeping you up to date and prepared for impactful winter weather. That's what it means to be the Weather Authority.
Shifting Gears is the much-anticipated can't-miss series with humor and heart.
You could go back to law school. That's always been your dream.
That was your dream for me.
You like to argue.
You do love to argue.
You might as well get paid for it.
Shifting Gears, new Wednesday on ABC.
I only have one rule. Stay out of the basement.
What do you got in the basement?
I can't talk about it quite yet.
There's something down there that will destroy the world.
We're talking about a monster, a real monster.
You are in danger. Kids are disappearing.
And welcome back to ABC News Live. I'm Terry Moran in Washington. President-elect Donald Trump has been sentenced without penalty on Friday for his felony conviction in his hush money trial. And here he is appearing virtually at what was likely his final court hearing as a criminal defendant before he's sworn in for another term as the President of the United States. New York Supreme Court Justice Juan Merchan, who oversaw this trial and handed down the sentence, gave Trump what's called an unconditional discharge. And that means that Trump will not face any time behind bars or a fine or probation. ABC News senior investigative reporter Olivia Rubin is following it all for us. So, Olivia, Trump walks away with virtually no penalty. Is this common in law? And he must be real happy about it.
He must be, although not entirely, because remember, 10 days before his inauguration, he still had to appear before the judge today in the courtroom, though they did not make him come all the way to New York from Florida like he did have to do during the trial. It's not all entirely that common, but, you know, it seemed to be the only option here. It's also, I think, notable because we went into the sentencing today already knowing what was going to happen. And as you know, that's quite rare for a sentencing because the judge's hands were essentially tied here. But I think sort of what was most remarkable about this hearing was Donald Trump's comments to the courtroom. Of course, he was able to say directly to the judge's face, to the prosecutor's face, everything that we have heard him saying on the campaign trail, in the hallway of the courtroom: political witch hunt, unfair, rigged, political, everything. And as you know, again, that's not an opportunity that he had had in the courtroom before. Defendants, they don't speak during trials unless they take the witness stand, which of course Donald Trump did not do. So a very unique and sort of remarkable thing that we saw him just unloading directly to the judge, Terry.
Right. Well, case closed, I guess, at this point. Olivia Rubin, thank you very much. Thanks. And coming up with the response to these devastating wildfires now under scrutiny, we're going to have an update on the resources the federal government is now directing to California.
When you order Domino's online, we'll give you a free pizza to use for a future pizza emergency. So you'll have a free pizza when you need it most. Get your emergency pizza when you order Domino's online.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Bye.
Dinner's ready.
We ready?
I need to get me a new phone.
You need to trade in that old busted up phone. You can get you a brand new iPhone 16 Pro from T-Mobile. It's on them. At T-Mobile, it's better over here. Families save 20% every month. What a deal.
To all you new and existing customers, trade in your busted old phone, and T-Mobile will give you a brand new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. Plus, families can switch and save 20% versus the other big guys' best plans plus streaming.
T-Mobile is one of none. Go get that.
What he said.
President Biden spoke to California's Governor Gavin Newsom today, along with Vice President Kamala Harris and other administration officials, on the federal response that he has directed to these wildfires across the Los Angeles area. Biden made a promise to help those affected counties eventually recover from and rebuild out of this ongoing disaster. ABC News White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks has the details for us. Mary Alice?
Yeah, Terry, President Biden told reporters today that he does expect the death toll to rise in California. He described the destruction like a bomb going off in some parts of the city. He said that the cleanup alone, just removing so much debris, is going to be a huge and very expensive undertaking. The White House says that they've been surging resources to the federal U.S. Forest Service in the area, the National Guard offering military equipment, Marines on standby ready to help. But Biden today in the Oval Office said that he's essentially at this point pleading with the incoming Trump administration, too, to continue to focus on this disaster and the people in Southern California. He told reporters that he was praying that they would. For now, while he is in office, he's been telling local officials to, quote, spare no expense, saying that the federal government will cover 100% of the recovery costs for 180 days. Of course, he only has 10 days left in office. And so the FEMA administrator was asked about this, and she said that he was using a common authority, an authority he still has, to guarantee these recovery funds. Now, she also encouraged people who have been displaced, who've had to evacuate in Los Angeles, to sign up for some immediate relief that they can get right now to help cover the cost of hotels and food and other essentials right now, and to start applying for some of that longer-term assistance that will be available to them. Terry.
All right, Mary Alice Parks, thanks very much for that. I'm Terry Moran. Thanks for streaming with us. We'll have more news coming up next.
Using BetterHelp can be as easy as opening your laptop or your phone and clicking a button, and the session begins.
BetterHelp is there when you need it, and that's what makes all the difference.
I never play well in these socks. I never play well when it's sunny. Is that tree always there? Who didn't rake this bunker? I played better in metal spikes. Too many wormholes in this fairway. Those geese were staring at me. My Band-Aid came loose right in my downswing. Golf is full of excuses. My shirt isn't wicking enough. My new pants are riding too high. I swear that tee box is slanted. My driver is too whippy. My caddy is too old. No more excuses. Get the best golf equipment and apparel at the guaranteed lowest prices at carlsgolfland.com. Land of golf plenty. Free shipping, free returns.
The Disney Resorts Collection is the most magical place to stay at the most magical place on Earth. And with extra time at any of the 4 theme parks, why would you stay anywhere else? Start saving today.
What's good to watch? Read? Where can I get a great deal on what I'm just dying to buy? Oh, it's all right here. GMA Life. All the exclusive and buzziest celebrity good stuff. Deals and steals with amazing savings and the coolest lifestyle tips from Good Morning America. Get excited!
I love that so much. It's time for GMA Life.
GMA Life, streaming weekends on ABC News Live. Your weekend just got a little better with GMA Life.
Freeze Morgan Guillory Major Crimes.
Where did you get this?
Check out at the dollar store.
You hired me because I noticed things that you miss.
Let's solve this case.
Bingo.
Our killer's name is Dubois.
Did you just Google who's the killer on your phone, Morgan?
No, I did not do that.
I'm Terry Moran in Washington, D.C., and we start with that unprecedented destruction across Los Angeles County. 6 active wildfires now scorching Southern California, with more than 30,000 acres across Los Angeles burned to the ground. This disaster is destroying decades-old homes, communities, and historic landmarks. The largest fire in Pacific Palisades is still less than 10% contained. And as first responders work tirelessly to battle the flames, the Eaton fire up in Altadena remains only 3% contained. Over 300,000 people have been told to evacuate so far as these fires continue to spread. At least 8 people are believed to be dead, and law enforcement warned that that number is expected to rise. The Palisades and Eaton fires have become the 2 most destructive fires in the history of Southern California. Officials describing parts of Los Angeles look like it was hit with, quote, an atomic bomb. ABC News' Jacqueline Lee joins me now over the phone, reporting from the Pacific Palisades. Jacqueline, what are you seeing? What are the conditions like now?
Hey, Jerry, we were driving up and down Pacific Coast Highway, and it really is just so stunning to see the number of homes that are on the beach that are now all gone. It's important to remember that these are multi-million-dollar homes that no one ever thought would be up in flames because they literally sit on the beach, Jerry. That shows how far south this fire burned. Not only did it go over the hillside, then it came down and jumped the highway, making its way all the way down to the beach. We are seeing destruction everywhere. You see huge trees where the bark is just eaten up and burnt. You see water heaters, washers and dryers, and there's not many people in sight just because many people cannot access any of their homes, Terry.
It's embarrassing. All right, Jacqueline, and it looks like a nightmare landscape. Are people returning to their homes to find what they can? What are you hearing from them?
We know they're trying. So we know of several families who are just desperate for any information to see if their homes are still standing. We were up in the hills, and we saw that, you'll come across neighborhoods where there's streets of homes that are gone, yet there's homes that are virtually untouched. And that just shows the power of embers traveling with the winds. But we also know other people who are trying to hike in. We came across a community where there were several residents who are riding for the first time to see if there was anything salvageable. And unfortunately, they discovered that was simply not the case. Terry.
Yeah, and Jacqueline, this is just unfathomable. I guess there were super scooper planes helping drop ocean water onto the fires. But now there's only one? There was some kind of drone collision? What happened?
So yesterday is the first time that they were able to go airborne because the winds, as you remember, were blowing us around. It was hurricane-force winds, and there was no visibility because the smoke was so thick. So to hear those air tankers, those super scoopers up in the air and to see it, it brought such hope that, yes, maybe finally this is a sign that this fire will be under control. But unfortunately, someone was flying a drone, Terry, and that drone was hit by the air tanker, and it was about the size of a football. And now one of the 2 super scoopers are just grounded because now it needs to be repaired. And so officials are very frustrated because not only is it illegal to be flying a drone, especially in the middle of a massive fire, but now you are affecting the number of people that are impacted by this because that is 1 out of 2 of these air tankers that are helping to supply air support to put water on these flames that have been burning out of control. Terry.
Yeah, that is crazy. Jacqueline Lee, thank you very much for that report. Well, firefighters are making incremental progress with the Eaton fire, which is now 3% contained. This inferno has killed at least 5 of the people who have been killed that we know about at this time. And it's destroyed nearly 14,000 acres in Altadena, damaging over 7,000 structures. ABC's Alex Stone has been on the ground in Altadena and is covering the latest for us for days.
National Guard troops now patrolling the streets in Los Angeles to help enforce evacuation orders. A 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew for the Eaton fire and Palisades fire areas to prevent looting as the city deals with catastrophic wildfires.
We're not doing this to inconvenience anybody. We're doing it to protect the structures, the houses that people have left.
The fires, which have devastated Los Angeles neighborhoods on the east and west sides of the city, have destroyed over 10,000 buildings, with those figures expected to grow.
We found out through word of mouth yesterday, confirmed from our neighbors that hiked in that our house was gone.
The Palisades fire between Santa Monica and Malibu on the city's west side and the Eaton fire in the east near Pasadena already rank as the most destructive in Los Angeles history. They've consumed over 53 square miles and turned entire neighborhoods to ash. The winds, with gusts up to 100 miles an hour earlier this week, have died down.
Due to the favorable overnight weather conditions, we can report that the Palisades fire is now 8% contained. The Kenneth fire, forward progress has been stopped with 35% containment at 1,000 acres.
In Washington, President Biden pledging to pay for 100% of the state's immediate costs for the next 180 days.
The scope, the scale, and the erratic movements of these fires is truly unprecedented.
And Terry, city officials here are apologizing for mistaken emergency alerts that have gone out. There was one today. There were some yesterday as well. The one today went to all of Los Angeles County. 9 to 10 million people got it, saying to evacuate. It was a mistake, and they are apologizing, but they're telling people, please do not turn off your emergency alerts on your cell phone. They're afraid then people won't get messages that they really do need to get. Terry.
For sure, the fog of war there in some ways, the smoke of war in this case. We know that more than 7,500 personnel, including almost 1,000 incarcerated firefighters, are battling these flames in Southern California that have been exacerbated by this perfect storm of dry and windy conditions. But some good news could be on the horizon. The red flag weather warnings in LA are set to expire tonight. So let's go right to ABC senior meteorologist Melissa Griffin, who's tracking the latest forecast. Melissa, this high wind has been feeding this inferno. What more do we know about what's going to happen next?
That's right, Terry. And the fortunate news is that those winds are finally starting to decrease. We've seen that happening throughout the day. This morning, the mountains outside of LA saw gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour. But now all the foothills and in the valleys, we're seeing all the winds start to die down. But we still do have, as you said, the red flag warnings in effect through 6 o'clock Pacific time. High wind warnings going to be expiring as well. You can see here by later this evening, all of those numbers much lower than what we've seen. Humidity's still low, though, so it's still dry out there. The problem is another Santa Ana wind event is expected to take place as we head into next week. But the good news is that over the weekend, the winds do look like they stay calm for several days. So hopefully that's a good window for the firefighters to up those containment numbers. But we will be watching this next event closely. Looks like potentially a moderate to strong Santa Ana wind event. And of course, we combine that with the drought. Now LA to San Diego, so much of Southern California under severe drought because Los Angeles hasn't seen any rain since May. It's the second driest May to December stretch on record. So we really need to get some more moisture in some of these areas. But with the wind coming again and these dry conditions in place, I'm still worried about that fire weather, Terry.
All right, Melissa, for sure. What about the winter storm, shifting gears, that's hitting the southern part of the country and causing problems there?
Yeah, and you know that low pressure that brought the significant winds to California earlier this week, it actually ejected into parts of the southern plains and now is in parts of Tennessee and Ohio River valleys. Winter storm warnings in effect in these areas. We saw heavy snow in parts of Memphis to Nashville, upwards of half a foot of snow. Icy conditions in Atlanta continue through tonight, and all of that snow will move east through the overnight hours tonight and right into the East Coast. Places like Virginia up through Washington, D.C. could see a coating of snow. Icy conditions continue for North Carolina. Even parts of the Northeast could see some snow through tomorrow morning, but not looking like a significant winter storm for much of the Northeast. And then this will finally slide out of here for a drier weekend for much of the East. Terry.
All right, Melissa Griffin, a lot of weather. Thanks very much for that report. While wildfires scorched Southern California, a severe winter storm, as Melissa was just talking about, is hammering the south and heading northeast. It's got snow, it's got rain, it's got ice. It's causing major power outages, shutting down schools and government offices. Governors have issued statewide states of emergency in Alabama, in Arkansas, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas in preparation for this storm. Arkansas's Governor Sarah Sanders, she activated the National Guard there to assist stranded motorists. And Texas Governor Greg Abbott has called up emergency response resources this week. For more on this winter storm, let's bring in ABC's Ike